Hello, and welcome back to the Market Minute with Mattie. Last episode, we talked mainly about market prices based on reports given by the USDA Market News. However, I would like to take some time in this episode to dive into one of Ag's hot topics, tariffs. You see that word all over the news every morning, no matter what station you're watching. But typically, they all bring it back to one question. What will this do to the agricultural markets? So today, considering this issue, I'm going to take some time to explain what tariffs are and how they can affect the markets we rely on every day. So, what is a tariff? According to the International Trade Organization, a tariff is a tax levied by governments on the value, including freight and insurance of imported products. All right, but what does that really mean? Well, simply, a tariff is a tax that a country's government puts on imported products. I will be using the words tariff and taxes interchangeably throughout this episode. Most governments aim to use tariffs to protect domestic industries. It is a well-known fact that some countries can make items cheaper than others, or they have a large abundance of certain goods. So countries use tariffs to protect the domestic companies whose products are normally more expensive than foreign competitors. For an example, I'm going to make up two countries, Pigland, whose main product is bacon, and Cowland, whose main product is burger. Obviously, those two countries can make their product easily and cheaply. Cowland sells their burger to Pigland for $1 per pound, and Pigland sells their bacon to Cowland for $1 per pound. That is pretty cheap, so consumers from both countries buy the products imported from the other. Cowland's domestic producers offer bacon at $3 per pound in order to break even. The price of imported bacon is way cheaper, so consumers start only buying that. Cowland's government sees a large decrease in domestic bacon production and loss of jobs in that area. So they decide to impose a tariff on Pigland's bacon. The tariff that Cowland imposes is $3 per pound. Pigland is still making bacon for $1 per pound. However, in order to break even, they must price their bacon at $4 per pound because they must pay that $3 tax in order to import it into Cowland. So now Pigland's imported bacon costs the consumer $4 per pound, whereas domestic Cowland bacon costs them $3 per pound. Consumers from Cowland start buying domestically produced bacon because of the lower price. So that's kind of how tariffs work. But there are also different types of tariffs. Specific tariffs, ad valorem tariffs, compound tariffs, tariff rate quotas, and retaliatory tariffs. Knowing the different types of tariffs will help you gain a better understanding of different situations. So we're going to start with specific tariffs, which is a tax put on specific goods that has nothing to do with the value. Instead, it is normally based on the weight or amount of the good. Specific tariffs are listed as price per quantity. Keeping with our previous example, if Cowland put a specific tariff on Pigland's bacon, there would be a $3 per pound tax. This would then increase the price of imported bacon from $1 per pound to $4 per pound, and that's what the consumer will end up paying. In real life, most agricultural goods go under the specific tariff category. Next up is ad valorem tariffs. Apparently, ad valorem is Latin for according to value, which makes sense as these tariffs are based off a percentage of what that good is worth. They're also listed as percentages. So if Cowland puts a 300% tariff on Pigland's bacon, that would bring the total cost up to $4 per pound. There is also a compound tariff, which is a combination of both specific and ad valorem tariffs, which basically puts on both tariffs at the same time, meaning they'll have a tax based off the number of imported goods and the value of them. If Cowland would put a compound tariff on Pigland's bacon, it'd look like this. A $2 per pound tax plus a 100% ad valorem tariff. Those two combined would then raise the price of bacon for the consumer to $4 per pound. The fourth type of tariff is a tariff rate quota. This considers how much of a singular good is being imported and lets that set the tax. Basically, the tariff is low on a good until it hits a specific amount or quota, then the tariff is increased. This quota is based off the amount of product being imported, not the value of the product. Cowland would employ a 100% tariff rate on Pigland's bacon until they hit 100,000 pounds imported, then the tariff rate would increase to 300%. The last type of tariff I'm going to talk about today are retaliatory tariffs and reciprocal tariffs, which kind of mean the same thing, however are slightly different. A retaliatory tariff is not based purely on tax. It is used more as a trade strategy. It is used by one country to quote-unquote punish the other for their trade practices. This would happen if Pigland got fed up on the bacon tariffs and decided to push back against Cowland and impose a tariff against burger imports. This causes Pigland to retaliate, and hopefully they can use it as a strategy to find trade peace between the countries. A true reciprocal tariff is when a country puts the same amount of tax on imports that other countries do on that country's export, but it's on the same good or product. Basically, if Cowland puts a 300% tariff rate on Pigland bacon, then Pigland would also put a 300% tariff rate on Cowland's bacon and vice versa. I believe reciprocal tariffs are a type of retaliatory tariffs, but some people will use them interchangeably. So walking away, just know that they're basically the same thing, specifically because of how reciprocal tariffs are being used in America today. In the end, the big question from everyone is, why should agriculturalists care? Well, many U.S. agricultural products are bolstered by international trade. Some industries rely on other countries buying their product, and imposing a tariff can hurt those exports, mainly because of possible retaliatory tariffs causing foreign consumption of American products to drop. However, tariffs can help domestically, as tariffs on opposing countries' agricultural goods can boost the sale of American products. The government also hopes to bring back more industry to the states, therefore increasing the numbers of jobs and innovation. The use of tariffs can be positive and negative depending on how you look at it. So the best way you can protect yourself is to stay educated and informed about the things that affect you and your industry. All the information presented in this episode is from an article written by Samantha, I'm going to butcher this, Majokek, for the National Agricultural Law Center, and is linked below. There has been a lack of actual market prices in this episode, but you can always access the USDA Market News website for live updates, or go back and listen to our last episode, which only has market prices. Both will be linked below in the show notes. As always, you can reach out to your local Penn State Extension livestock educator or visit the Extension website at extension.psu.edu for more information. Our next episode will be a panel-style interview about, drumroll please, calving. That will be released on April 23rd. Thank you so much for listening, and talk to you later.